Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to properly tame and bond with your brand new or current leopard gecko. So to start off, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, and comment down below if you haven't already so you can join our little community here. My current leopard gecko's name is Toast. He is 11 months old as of this month, and however many days, he'll be 1 year old next month. So he is still very young, and I've only had him for however many months that is, give or take. And I got him when he wasn't super young. But yeah, I do have a leopard gecko. He is my first ever leopard gecko, so I can't say I am a super experienced hobbyist of leopard geckos or reptiles in general, since he's my first reptile as well. However, I went through a lot of ups and downs with him, and we have created a really good bond, and he is really tame. And I do really like what I did to get him tame, and I figured it out through a lot of different videos that I combined. So I would love to make a video for you guys who are looking to get a leopard gecko that has all of the best suggestions for taming and bonding with your leopard gecko in one place. But as always, make sure you do your research and just study up on everything leopard gecko before you get one. As for any living animal, you should never impulsively buy them, and you should always do your research so that it makes it a smoother process overall. However, I do recognize the fact that getting your first reptile is really anxiety provoking. I hope this video can help you guys out if you're struggling with your current leopard gecko, or if you just want some more tips before getting your first ever reptile, a leopard gecko. So when you bring your leopard gecko home for the first time, you do really want to give them a time period to settle in, and my recommendation is 4 to 5 days, 4 days being the bare minimum. Some people say 2 weeks. I think that's much too long. Even a very stressed out gecko can easily settle down in like 5 to 6 days, but really play it by ear. See how many days it needs to take for you and your gecko to get comfortable, but mainly your gecko to get comfortable. And that should be at least 4 days, just so that they can just start to calm down. And in those 4 to 5 days, you really don't want to try to handle them or pick them up or stress them out more than necessary, because everything else is already stressful enough. But some things you can do in those 4 to 5 days to keep yourself busy and to start already that good relationship in between you and your pet is as follows. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your hands are in the enclosure but not touching them every single day, doing just basic things that you have to do every single day. So things like changing the water, misting their human hide, and changing out their poop corner or underneath the hide that they poop in every single day when they poop, if they do poop. Sometimes they won't eat or poop for a couple days when you bring them home because they are stressed out due to the move in enclosure and just everything's different. Don't worry, they will get eating. It'll pick up. They are picky eaters though, so there's lots of videos on that. Be prepared. It is a rodeo. But basically doing these things every single day gets them used to seeing your hands inside their enclosure, which is really vital to them associating you with their environment and thus not being scared of your hands or you. You can also talk to them as you're doing things, or just talk out loud about literally anything, because that'll get them used to your voice. You can start with whispering and then slowly bring it up. Another really important thing that I forgot to mention is the fact that you do want to make sure that you put their enclosure in a room that is a low traffic room with at least one area that's blacked off or darker. Don't put them in a cage that's completely open on all four sides with a lot of family members talking around them all the time, because they will not be able to relax or de-stress from the move and environments. And instead, you can put them in a room that is a little bit more low traffic. You can give them a backdrop. I made my backdrop for Toast out of literally a coarse fabric that I like the pattern of. And me and my mom just set it up with some industrial Velcro pieces and some tape. And it has been working ever since. And it's very cute. And it gives him another place where it's blacked off. Okay, it's me a couple days later after the horrible incident happened where I basically had to trash a good percentage of my video that I recorded, which is really annoying because I spent a lot of time making that perfect for you guys, and it turned out my mic wasn't even on, but I don't remember turning it off intentionally, so it's this guy's fault. But I was just editing this video and it was going great until that happened, sadly. But here I am to complete the video. I was about to just trash the whole thing and never do this video again for a while. But I was like, don't give up, Zoe. Let's try a part 2 type vibe. So here I am to finish the rest of this educational video for you guys. So I hope you're still here and let's get into the rest of the video. So what I didn't get to say is that you also really want to make sure that while they're settling in for those 4, 5, 6 days to practice hand feeding or tongue feeding your gecko. This will really help young geckos that are very hungry and growing, and just any gecko, leopard gecko, who is food motivated, which is a lot of them, to associate you with positive things such as food as well as a part of their environment. So by feeding them from day one, it really works. But a lot of geckos or leopard geckos, when you bring them home, aren't really hungry because they are really stressed, or maybe they ate right before you got them. However, Toast for me ate the first day I brought him home. He was ravenous, and then the next couple days he didn't eat at all, which just probably was because then he actually shed his skin a couple of days after I got him, which is very stressful for me and stuff, but it all turned out fine. So hand feeding or tongue feeding on the first few days while they're settling in is a perfect way to start the taming process before you even can pick them up and when they're still kind of settling in. After they have settled in and you have started these different little things, you can go ahead and start the hand. Editing Zoe, I would just like to mention that leopard geckos are most active during dawn and dusk times of the day, therefore make sure you only handle and tame your gecko before 8 and after 6 in the evening in order to consider their schedule. Which is the most stressful process for a new leopard gecko owner and for the new leopard gecko who may have never had handling in their background as they were growing up as like a really little juvie gecko. So this is a very important step to having a good bond and relationship with your gecko and not messing anything up where you might hurt your gecko. So when you start handling your gecko, you want to only handle them over their tank for a good couple weeks, and you want to do this every day for 5 minutes. And you can slowly increase this time the more your gecko and you get comfortable with handling. But it really is a two-sided thing. You have to get used to the feeling of holding your gecko and how to carefully and safely hold them, and they have to get used to your hands. And they also need to be desensitized to your hands so that they start to realize your hands aren't going to hurt them. And the best way to do this is to simply insert your dominance. To basically take control, fake the confidence, and just scoop them up and just start handling. Young leopard geckos are going to be really fast, and they're just not going to want to be held if they've never been held prior. So they might try to run out of your hands, and you just got to put one hand in front of the other and never give up. Never give up. And you want to be very, very consistent and only hold them over their tank or enclosure for the first couple weeks, because you probably aren't that confident and neither are they, and you don't want anything bad to happen with them outside of their cage. It's easier to keep them over their cage, so if they do jump out of your hands or do anything that you're not comfortable with, they can go right back into their enclosure and have the least sustained amount of injuries. So this is a really vital step, is keeping them over their tank until you are 100% confident, or you're even if you're starting to get bored of doing this and they're starting to get really bored and really comfortable in your hands, that's when you bump it up a level, which I'll talk about soon. But to go back to the basics, when you pick up your gecko for the first time, the best way to pick up most geckos, in my opinion, is to scoop them from their side. Just scoop them up like a spatula, and just pick them up like that, and then just put one hand over the other. They also like to crawl on the backs of your hands as well. They'll also sometimes climb up your arms once they realize they can, and they really like sitting on your shoulders and just climbing on you like a jungle gym. And they also love when your hands are warm or any part of you is warm. They'll just lay down and flush their stomach to your skin, which is a really sweet thing that they do. And it's completely usually because they just want to be warm because they're a reptile, but there is a side of it, in my opinion, that definitely is emotional and them bonding with you, but take that as you will. But anyways, you can either scoop them up like this. You can also put your hand in front of wherever they're going or walking so that they have to go on your hands. And this works really well for really small leopard geckos who are just really, really fast. Just put your hand in front of where they're wanting to go until finally you get them and just basically scoop them up. You never want to pick them up by their tail or any other limb. and you never want to stress them out or grab their tail when you're handling them because their tail could fall off, and it's just not safe. It's always best to gently grab them around their midsection or torso where you're going to be the safest holding them, but all over them, they are very fragile species. They have very thin skin that's very delicate and soft, and very little hands and fingers, and their little fingernails, or not fingernails, their little claws can easily be ripped or torn, and then they'll just be bleeding everywhere. They sell a lot of different powders you can put on it to help stop the bleeding, like Neosporin and things like that. But you really just want to be careful that you don't get their little fingernails or fingers stuck in between your hands, and you just want to handle them carefully. They are not like other reptiles like snakes. They are very fragile, very slow moving once they get bigger. If your gecko is moving very fast and you're stressed out about it because they're very young and you just got them, don't worry. As they grow up, and they grow up substantially faster than you'll think, they do slow down and they become more of that docile leopard gecko you probably pictured when you wanted to get or researched about the leopard gecko. And they do develop that personality as they get a little bit older. Toast is only 11 months old and he's already completely chilled out. He is a male leopard gecko. However, most leopard geckos are the same and they do mellow out as they get older. The reason they're really fast when they're young is because they're simply smaller and more vulnerable to predators, so they have to be fast, they have to be hyper vigilant, which is also why they might be more vocal and more annoying to deal with because they'll scream and be stressed about anything. They're just getting desensitized and comfortable in their environment. Everything is new and strange to them, so just be prepared. And after you and your gecko are comfortable and actually possibly growing bored of just handling over their tank, the next best step, in my opinion, is to get a pop-up playpen off of Amazon or any place that sells them for cheap for like $15. This is a very versatile thing you can use for multiple different animals, multiple geckos if you will, as long as you clean it in between animals. All you need to have playtime with your gecko outside of their cage is a playpen, in my opinion, a soft blanket like a fleece blanket to make it more comfortable for you and your gecko to walk on so they can explore everywhere. And if you want, you can add a hide from their cage that they really like, but they don't really care that much because like most that they will do in the playpen is go around, explore the playpen. Sometimes they'll poop in the playpen. Toast loves to do that. And then they also really love climbing on you, and this is a crucial part to forming that like relationship with your gecko because they'll climb on you, explore you, and get really comfortable with who you are and that you're like the caretaker. To transport them into this playpen area, all you need is your hand if you're comfortable, and placing the playpen near their cage so that it's not a long distance so you can easily safely get them there. Or you can use a travel cage or a Tupperware container to make you and the gecko feel safer until you're more comfortable with the act of transporting them in your hands, because they have horrible depth perception and a small sized brain, and they will jump however high up you are. They will jump for no reason at all, and that is very stressful. That is why I recommend a playpen over just sitting out in the open with them, because they can get really fast out of nowhere and bolt. And if you don't know how to carefully get them or calm them down when they freak out, you will be in some trouble. So I really recommend a playpen. They're so cheap, and I use mine also with my hamster Moose, and it's very useful, and I really have been using it for a while, and it's still not worn out or anything like that. They're usually made out of nylon material, so I recommend. As for the playpen, just like handling them over their cage, you want to be consistent, do this every night that you can. But if you can't get them out in the playpen because you want to take your time and not be stressed, you can always just hold them over their tank for 5-15 minutes. Just make sure you're doing something to hold them every single day for a while, and just keep this up even past the point of tameness and bondness, whatever you want to call it, because me and Toast are completely good. He's completely tame and used to handling, and I still do it every day because it's a good way for him to get some of his exercise in and just continue to keep that bond and keep him desensitized to handling. If you ever stop, then they could maybe grow out of that and start seeing you as not this comfortable person, but more a foreign thing that they don't have to deal with usually. So just keep it up. Stay consistent. Whenever you have them out in the playpen, you can also use a kitchen scale to get their weight, which is really important when you first get them, because you do want to be weighing them once a week or so to make sure that their weight is looking healthy and increasing steadily as they grow, and even past growing stages. Once they are like full grown, you still want to continue to weigh them to make sure that they don't rapidly lose weight for any unhealthy reason. A lot of female leopard geckos and just geckos in general can lose a substantial amount of weight due to different seasons and different things like laying eggs for female leopard geckos. They lose a lot of weight, possibly sometimes, which can really stress out an owner. And then male leopard geckos can also go into brumation or just lose weight if they're being picky. So just monitor their weight if you can, which is really useful to keep an eye on their health. Also, in the colder months, you don't want to be having them outside of their cage in a playpen for too long if your room is on the colder side due to the cold air outside of your house. You just want to make sure that you hold them for shorter amounts of time away from their heat source, just so that they stay at a good temperature overall. So just watch that as well to keep them safe during the colder seasons that we are starting to go into as of lately. Also, during the playpen time, you can easily just do homework or scroll on TikTok or just like watch other videos and just relax once you're comfortable in the playpen with your gecko. Just be careful you don't crush them or hurt them in the playpen, and be very, very aware of your surroundings with them for the good first few weeks or times of playpen bonding, so that you and your gecko have a smooth process together, because they can freak out about different things and things like that. Also, I think this is a good example of the fact that leopard geckos, even after like the taming and bonding process is over and that they are tame and bonded with you, they still easily get spooked by different things that they just don't know what they are. For example, Toast, literally like 3 nights ago in playpen time, he decided that he was terrified or really angry or just very emotional about my foot. So he started to do this thing with his tail, which is just a sign of a leopard gecko getting really freaked out. They're trying to distract what they think is a predator from their main internal organs by wagging their colorful tail, which is why they can drop their tail. They can drop their tail to basically give the predator their tail rather than their vital organs. So he started to do a sassy tail wave, more than just what he does when he walks, which means he's freaking out. And then he started to hyperventilate, and I was like, what is he doing? I actually have a video of it. I somehow caught it, which I'm like glad I could, so I can show you that behavior that is common if they get spooked. And he was really scared, and I was trying to talk to him in a calming voice, which is why when you're taming them, you do want to talk to them so that they can go to your voice as a way to calm down if they do get spooked. So I was talking to him, which was helping a little bit. Then he bolted and decided to hide underneath all my hair on my lap, like my hair. And he stayed like that until he calmed himself down. And they are very good animals at calming themselves down. They will calm themselves down if they're stressed or panicked, but you can always help with talking to them, reassuring them that they're okay. It's just something they don't know what it was, and they're not the smartest. So if they see something that just is colored weirdly, they'll be like, okay, it's time to freak out. So you just have to be prepared to calm them down, to be the calm one for them, and they will calm themselves down. And they're really good reptiles at doing that, and I think that is a really cool thing that they can do. Obviously, it's not great that they get spooked and stuff, because you don't want them to drop their tail or any other health issues, but the occasional spooking does happen, so be prepared. And in conclusion, I would just like to say that reptiles such as leopard geckos can form bonds with their owners past just the bare necessities, and that they do have feelings and emotions themselves, because they have a brain and a heart, and they are a living being. And in my opinion, Toast has an amazing personality besides just being a docile gecko, and he definitely has his favorite things, and he definitely loves spending time with me. So I just wanted to say that, because that is my opinion, that they can form a real relationship with their owner. Check out any hobbyists with leopard geckos that love them. There's more going on than just a reptile needing food from their owner. So yeah, I just had to put that out there, because it really bothers me that people think that just because they're a reptile and they need these certain things like a certain temperature or this and that they couldn't also form a bond with their owner. I think that's stupid. So I just wanted to put that out there for a little positive message. But yeah, this concludes this video that was kind of crazy to film and try to edit and stuff, but I'm so happy I finished it for you guys, because I really hope this helps some of you guys out there, and I really hope you enjoyed this video regardless. So make sure you hit that like button, comment down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.